Hey everybody, what's going on? It is 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern. Happy Monday. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here inside of Pivot Shift Ahead this morning. We are doing our Back on Track series. We kicked it off last Wednesday. 3 parts in so far to help make sure you get back on track for your goals. Because when I asked the question inside the Facebook group last week, I said, are you on track, behind, or ahead? And a majority of you were behind goal. And I thought, well, we're only 60 something days into the year, so we can fix that now. Now's a good time to fix it. And some of you are only 1 or 2 deals behind. So let's get back on track so that we have good momentum this year. So we created this series. We have 3 parts done already that you can watch at backontrack.jamesdshaw.com. Backontrack.jamesdshaw.com. We're going to do part 4 today, part 5 tomorrow, and then we'll put a bow on it and be done. Inspire Collective members, we're putting together a resource guide for all 5 sessions for you that will have a recap of each call and then tools that we have inside of the Inspire Collective that support that call, along with interviews we've done with systems and things like that. It's just this wonderful guide. We'll have that to you maybe Tuesday, but probably on Wednesday. So our team's been working on it as we go. So hopefully it's a good resource to help you. If you're not an Inspire member, join us so that you have access to that sort of thing. Today is step 4 of our Back on Track series, and we're going to talk about your schedule, having a results-oriented schedule and how important that is. But we'll get to that in just a second. Before we do that, a couple of tell me something goods. Holla! Boop, 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 boop.
Good morning. So I have 2 things very good. Personally, I surprised my mom at her 91 birthday for my brother to come with his family. And my sister didn't see him for 5 years. I saw him 1 year and a half. And it was really big surprise. We celebrate 2 days, one at my house, big dinner family, and yesterday outside. And she was so happy. It's very good to see my mom's face happy at 91. She's healthy, thanks God. Knock on wood.
That's so wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. What a wonderful moment. Thanks, Hala. Hi, Stephen. Good
Can I
morning.
share that business?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, this March, I felt like I don't have energy to talk to anybody. So my message was text message in the morning for my lead gen and said, hi, happy March, happy, I cannot wait for spring. What about you, Hala Hannah Keller William? And I got very good conversation and I got listing from it.
Good for you. Stephen, good morning.
Hey, good morning. I just wanted to give a shout out to a team member that is new to real estate and new to our team that is just phenomenal. Told her about the pivot call when she started, and she is on here every morning. It's Doretta Watson, and she's just killing it. She's had a couple of closings already in just a few months that she's had, and she had a closing on Friday on her first listing and still has business in the pipeline. She's dual career. She took an office in the market center, and she works from home for her job during the morning, and she's in the office every afternoon until after everybody leaves every night, and she's just killing it.
Getting it done. I love that. Thanks for honoring her, Stephen. Appreciate it. We're going to take one more. I'm going to jump up to Benny because I don't think Benny's ever shared before. And so I want to give Benny the chance to share. So you get the last one this morning.
I appreciate that, James. Yesterday, well, actually Saturday, I was at this place. It's called New Southern Box Company, and it's like a food hall. It's in Orlando, if you know where our Frito-Lay is, like over in that area there. But anyway, so there's ladies in there. She's looking at some desserts, and I walked up to her, and I was looking at some desserts too. So we got to talking about the desserts. Then her and her granddaughter went to pay for their desserts, and I said to the cashier, "Hey, listen, I'll go ahead and pay for their desserts." So the lady was very, pleased that I did that. I said to her, what goes around comes around. And I said, well, she said, can I do anything for you? I said, no, no, no. And then I said, well, you know what? Actually, let me give you my card. And maybe you can circulate it for me. I'm on Realtor with Charles Rurenberg Realty. So she said, okay, great. So she says, but listen, my daughter and I just completed doing some classes on investment properties, and we are hoping to start getting into some purchasing some investment properties pretty soon. So I said, great, I'm the guy. I love to work with you. So that was my tell me something good.
That's great. There's opportunity everywhere, Benny. Always opportunity. You just got to go out and find it. Thank you. Appreciate you. Glad you're here. Let's get after it this morning. So we've been doing our Back on Track series. We started it on Wednesday, 5 parts. Part 1, was double down on your standard. Whatever your standard is in your business, is it a number of daily contacts? Is it a number of, is it adding an appointment to your pipeline? Is it knocking on so many doors? Are you an Inspire member and you're doing the points challenge system? Whatever it is, double down on your standard if you're behind so that you can bring more opportunity into your pipeline. Number 2 was really master the follow-up. What leads do you already have in there that just need to be checked on, right? Do you have some stuff that's fallen through the cracks and so you want to follow up on them? And we gave you specific scripts, right? The last time we talked, you said your plan was to do blank. Is that still your plan? But to reconnect with your pipeline and your follow-up leads. Step 3, we covered on Friday, which was really ramp up your listing inventory, build listings fast. And we talked about all sorts of strategies to go to do that. So today, it's about implement a results-oriented schedule. It's really important that we wake up understanding what should be priority. And if you're behind goal, dealing with business is not a priority. The problem is that we're behind goal, we become tied to the outcome of each piece of business. And so then we spend all this time holding it together instead of going and building the pipeline to look for more. But if you're behind goal, dealing with business is not the priority. If you're on track for your goal, dealing with business is not the priority. If you're ahead of goal, dealing with business is not the priority. The priority is always adding stuff to the pipeline. So run a results-oriented schedule. In other words, make sure your day allows you to build the pipeline. MREA, page 296, says the idea is to block up enough time for your key 20% activities. Time blocking up front is pretty easy. You just go to your calendar and do it. The real challenge is to honor the system by protecting the time you've set aside and utilizing it with absolute focus in the face of an inevitable barrage of false priorities and interruptions that appear each day. The one thing, we haven't been in the one thing in this series, but in the one thing on page 165, they talk about the idea of time blocking your one thing. And he says, if you have a specific goal, your one thing, you finish it regardless of the time. Do you get it? Regardless of the time. The clock doesn't matter. In the book, A Geography of Time, it points out that most people work on clock time. It's 5 o'clock. I'll see you tomorrow. Well, other people work on event time. My work is done when it's done. He says, think about that. Are you working on clock time or event time? Clock time says, okay, I said I was going to lead generate from 9 to 11. It's 11. I'm going to move on to the next thing. Or you're working on event time, which is, all right, my standard is I'm going to talk to 10 people. My standard is I'm going to add a lead to the pipeline every day. My standard is I'm going to earn 30 points. And you go until the event is complete. I like to think about it like the difference between a football game, an NFL game, or an MLB baseball game. In an NFL game, that's all clock time. They play, it's an hour, the game's an hour. If it's tied, they play what, like a 10-minute overtime or something like that. And at the end of the 10 minutes, if it's still tied, then the game is over. That's how the NFL works. Clock time. You got an hour plus 10 minutes, and after that hour plus 10 minutes, if the game's still tied, the game is tied. Done. But a baseball game works on event time. You're going to play 9 innings, and you're going to play until somebody wins 9 innings or later. There is no limit on the number of innings. There is no limit on the number of time, on the amount of time. You go until someone wins, 9 innings or later. What are you doing? Are you happy with a tie, or are you going to play until you win? Let's talk about this morning. And Dean, it wouldn't be a Monday if you didn't start us off. Good morning.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity. I think the one thing you have to do is you set up your time, and I'm a big fan of event time. You get it done till it's done. If you get your appointment at 6 o'clock at night, so be it. That's the way it is. You don't give up. But the one thing you need to do, I believe, is you have to set the clients in priority order. In other words, which of your clients is most likely to convert soonest, most likely to give you a listing, most likely to give you a buyer's agency agreement, most likely to work with you. In other words, so many times people take a list and they feel they have to go through the list. They don't really segregate who might be the highest priority. So always prioritize where the chances are for getting business quickest. That'll be more efficient for you when you do your work. and that'll be more effective for you as you get listings. So I just wanted to share that. Thanks a lot for letting me do it, James.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we work from a sense of priority. Not everything matters equally. And if you're treating it like it matters equally, then you're going to be pretty disappointed in the results. Mark Martin, good morning.
Good morning. Really been working hard on this this quarter, and one of the things that I did is I created in my online calendar a specific calendar called the Ideal Week, pulling that from various productivity people. But the Ideal Week, and there's the lead gen time, there's the appointment time, and that appointment time has been really key for me because when I talk to somebody, I'm not afraid if I'm going to get business. I'm like, hey, if there's an opportunity to meet with them, I say, hey, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, I meet in the afternoon for those kind of appointments. And it really seems to consolidate a lot of things as far as conversations and make those consultations a priority. So lead gen time, appointment time, and then you can overlay that over your other schedules if you make a specific calendar, and then just make those blocks repeating every week, and then you can move things around as needed if there are things that need to flex.
That's Rodney Mason's strategy. I mean, that's how he put his stuff in gear. I'm going to put the link to the interview we did with Rodney in the chat right now. But Rodney will only have meetings at certain times, period. And he taught us about it at Advance this past year. He did the interview with us that I put in the chat. He's determined his schedule, and then he fits stuff in the schedule the way it works for him. Mark, it's really smart. And I can tell you put a focus on it. You become very active on the call. You're active in the group. And here's what I can tell. When someone does that, when someone goes all in to what we're doing, the results are 3 to 4 months behind. Like it's coming for you. It's just you got to be willing to do the work. Thank you.
Oh, I can
Pat,
feel it.
Pat, you're next. Good morning.
Good morning. So going back, we meet on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, a group of us, and we all evaluate our 411, our what we want for the year, what we want for the month, what we want for the week. And then, of course, we time block it so we know exactly when we're going to do it. But the more important thing is that we go back and we evaluate what we did the week before so that we can see where our pitfalls were and where our successes were. Sometimes we don't get everything done, so you need to stack. You need to bring that into the new week, and you need to know when you're going to get it done. There's also something called erase and replace. So if you need to move around and, just lead gen time is so important. If you need to take that block and put it somewhere else, you're erasing but you need to replace. So that's my message for Monday morning.
And you've been working it. Thank you, Pat. Appreciate you. Orly, good morning.
Love that, Pat. Always so wise. So for me, I developed a discipline long time ago, which I call my 10-10-10. So it's 10 cards, usually my anniversary cards, and I do them while I'm on a Zoom call. I usually do more than 10 while I'm on a Zoom call because I can listen and write at the same time. 10 follow-up calls because it's all in the follow-up, and 10 lead gen calls to either past CMAs or my database. And like I said, last week, I got a call from a client that I sold 15 years ago, got my cards, got my calls, got the invitations. Crickets, never heard from them. And last week when they invited me in to list their house, they said, oh my God, we were so happy you were still in business because we wouldn't do business with anybody else. So they're listening. When they need you, they'll call you.
Yeah, it's the reminder that just because we don't hear them doesn't mean they don't hear us. It's our job to stay in a flow, bottom line. Orly, thank you. Elaine, you're next. Good morning.
Good morning. So I wanted to share something with you. I'm big on coaching. I'm not a coach, a recipient of wise words. I have a business coach from MAPS, but I have to bring in something that I learned from my hobby, which is horses. And I was with a top clinician that comes to our barn, and she's rough. She's a marathon runner, athlete, and she's just plain old tough. And when you're getting tired and you have a standard, try to muscle memory when you feel good, when you're getting the juice, when you're getting the leads. What did you do to get that listing? Feel that feeling. And when you're worn out at the end of your lead gen, go back to the muscle memory of what did I do? What type of energy did I have? Because at the end of the lead gen, your standard might be to get 10 calls in, and you might be getting very tired. Remember at the end of your lead gen to ramp up and really push through the energy that you need to really bring it across, because of the fact that if you don't, you're just going to lack, and it will drain you. And I just have to say, do it. Make sure to make your energy level standard part of it. It's not just a number, it's an energy.
Part of what we're going to get to tomorrow, but I trust that you heard what Elaine just told you. She just gave you genius, which she often does. And the genius is that the schedule is determined by the event, not the clock. She's saying, what is your standard for blank? Whatever that standard is, and you go until the standard's done, and it becomes so much of who you are. That's the muscle memory, right? It just becomes who you are, that this is what you always do, and get that to your standard. You all have an event time standard right now. The question that you've got to ask is that event time standard getting you where you want to go? If it's not, it's time to change it. Bree, you're next. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. And happy birthday to Naomi.
Oh, look at that. That's so sweet, that photo.
I feel like this topic, time blocking, it's one that's so underrated by agents, where we feel like we have to do and be and go and do all the other things. But as Gary says, until your number one priority is done, everything else is a distraction. And it was once you get a grip and master time blocking, you stop being that star agent that shows up for everything, or that little jack in the box that pops up at every event that happens, and you learn and you teach people how to treat you. So if you, and it's ironic that I'm wearing my t-shirt, win the morning, win the day, because yes, if you get to a place where you can time block, say from 9 to 11, and you've set yourself up for success, like Uncle Dean says, you already know who's priority, who's most likely to do business, to transact with you, and call them first. And then you, by the time 11 o'clock comes, if you don't get that appointment, that's what I love about the 2 p.m. protocol that my coach, John Sprague, and Kristen's coach, and James, you implemented the 5 p.m. Like, that's the awareness of, okay, I've not hit my goal by this time. So then you can implement those standards of, hey, what is the thing that I will do before my head hits the pillow that will move me forward in my business or move the needle forward? But the time blocking piece, if you don't get that, then you're just that star agent that's just going all over, and you're basically giving your calendar to your clients.
No doubt about that. I'm putting the link for John's session on the 2 p.m. protocol in the chat. This will be an Inspire member only link. So when you get it, Inspire members, you'll be the only ones to have access to it because it is in the portal, but it'll help you out. Ronnie, you're next. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, James. So as Gary is preaching behind me, to do this, you have to subscribe to one simple belief. Dealing with business never takes precedence over finding business. Never. And it's funny how it's in shift tactic 4 of the shift book, find the motivated. Everybody is so consumed with getting ready to get ready. You got to stop doing that. And you got to stop dealing with business never takes precedence over finding.
Yeah,
Find
go
the
get some.
motivated.
Add to the pipeline. Ronnie, thank you so much. We're going to squeeze a couple of more in. Jenny, good morning.
Good morning. Happy birthday to Naomi. Me, I love that picture. Okay, so I've heard great tips, of course. And my thought always goes to, we always have the best intentions. We might have the right time blocked calendar for success. And are we actually following it? I got to teach Quantum Leap 2 times last week. And it's always a great reminder because you guys know a lot of Quantum Leap comes from the one thing and the 6 personal perspectives, which is focus on your big rocks first and do not allow all these distractions. So for me, one tip for me was that I have not had my phone ring out loud or ding out loud in 15 years. And I've still built a pretty big, successful business. So that is our problem, I believe, is that we're allowing these like squirrels popping up, the dingers and the ringers that are distracting us. We know we're supposed to have focus time for a couple hours each day. That's how we're going to be the most successful. I mean, I even remember I got a new iPad, a new computer, and it was just auto set up to have my emails pop up in the right corner. And I'm like, wait, whoa, what is that? Because that is a distraction. So how many things could you eliminate right now that could keep you focused so that you actually are doing the proper lead gen? That's the
So
question.
good. My phone's on DND. It doesn't ring anymore. I don't check my voicemail. I don't know.
Actually, most people don't know your real phone number.
That's true. That's a true story. Jess Star, you get the last word. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, friends. Listen, I think it's really important, like Elaine said, to remember the winning days and winning weeks you have. And it's an exercise I do with my team members. When you have a really successful day and the things you do, go down and journal about it. What did you do in that day? What were your habits that day? And what were your habits that week to have that winning week? So when you're having a bad day or a bad week, what were your habits that week? Go back and reflect on what you did to have those successful days and weeks, and remember what your habits were. And by the way, have something that you do that fills your cup and that you can go do. So if you're not being successful in the activities you're having right now, maybe there's 5 people you can call and share gratitude with that can change your energy in an instant. And go share gratitude with those people so that you can shift your energy, so that when you need to go make those calls and be consistent with your activities, your energy is completely different. By the way, set your mantra. For me, when I'm in St. Pete, I still work when I'm down there. I am still going to prospect and still lead generate for my team. I might have my toes in the sand, but one a day and I can play. And if you think I'm prospecting for 3 hours a day, you are sorely mistaken.
Right.
I'm going to prospect as fast as I can to set those appointments, friends.
That's why, again, it's event time, not clock time. If you hit your goal on the first couple of calls, go do the next thing. But you got to figure out what the standard is. You got to make sure the standard is in alignment with the goal. The goal's got to have meaning attached to it. And then you run the play. That's it. Now you're not attached to the outcomes of things. You just go until you win. Folks, I hope this series is helping you out. We'll put a bow on it tomorrow. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you. We'll be back and better than ever tomorrow. Again, happy birthday to Naomi, 13 years old. So weird. You've got your inspiration. Go put in the perspiration. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, James.
Ew.